Today's a little bit of a different style webinar. We're going to dive in and talk about a hot topic or a trending topic in the industry and share some thoughts on it. There's been a lot of people sharing a lot of thoughts. Honestly, I think a lot of thoughts so far that we have heard have been very financially motivated by those that are sharing it. So today we're going to try to pull back the curtain a little bit on this important topic and help you understand kind of some different options and really help you understand how to make the best decision for you. And also at the same time that we're doing that, help you understand why certain people may be saying what they're saying and give you full transparency on kind of a couple of different ways to look at it. So important topic. Your website is a very important part of your overall business and the success that you see as a business, especially in this time that the OTAs are working so hard to steal market share and capture customers. Probably your website is more important than it's ever been. And we're in a time where the pace of change is higher in technology than it's ever been. So really important time to be considering this question and making a thoughtful decision on what the right thing is for your business. And that's what we want you to be equipped to do, is make the right decision for your business. So we're going to try to do all of that today in about 30 minutes, keep it a little bit shorter. We're going to talk more about our product today than we really probably ever have on a webinar, but only doing that in the context of like helping you understand this decision. Not that you need to use our product or don't use our product, that's totally up to you. It's just helping you understand some different options that are out there and some different ways to think about things, and where the future of the website design industry is going is really what we want you to come away with. So glad that you guys are along for the ride with us, and we'll dive into our topic today. We will also have a follow-up blog on our website about this. If you want to read the full blog, you'll be able to do that as well here shortly. So with that, let's dive straight in. Oops, I skipped way ahead there somehow to like slide 14. Here we go. Awesome. So hot topic, should you own your website? What does it mean to own your website or digital assets? So let's talk a little bit about that. There's a lot that actually goes into your website, and people say I should or I shouldn't own my website. I think there's some confusion about that. So we're going to touch a little bit on some of that language. First, you've got your domain name. We believe that you should have your domain name registered personally. No one actually owns their own domain name. We don't own our domain name. You don't own your domain name, but you should have it registered in your own account. We recommend that versus having your web developer or marketer or whoever have it registered in their account. Always have that domain name registered in your account. You don't own it. You actually just have the rights to use it for whatever period of time you have registered it for, which is why you typically pay an annual renewal fee for your domain name. There's also the content management system. You don't own your content management system unless you've personally built your own, which very, very few people have. A few people have, but very, very few people have built their own content management system. Most people use WordPress as a content management system. WordPress powers 28% of all websites on the internet. So most vastly used content management system, has massive market share. And that's honestly the one that we recommend use. We use WordPress. There's also content management systems like Drupal, Joomla, a lot of home-baked solutions. We don't recommend using a proprietary content management system because it's very difficult to transition out of a proprietary content management system if you ever needed to. So it definitely can be a way to kind of hold a customer hostage if you're in a proprietary one. So we don't recommend using a proprietary one. There are reasons you may choose to do that, but typically speaking, don't recommend doing that. But very few, if anybody, owns their own content management system. That's kind of the frame that your website is built on top of and enables you to interact with the content of your site, change that content very quickly and easily. There's actually the underlying code, the code that makes your website run. Most people don't own the code of their website either. They might own the rights to use the code for that particular instance, but like you couldn't pick that code up and resell it to somebody else. So you don't actually own that code. So a little bit of a difference there. But most people don't own that underlying code. Most people do own the content of their website. And we agree this is really important for you to own the content, the photos, anything you're creating there. You really need to own the content that makes up your website, because the content is one of the most important parts over on how your website's going to perform. So really important to own the content of your site as well, in our opinion, and all of our customers do that. And then there's a part of like actually the system, like how that kind of comes together. with the website and with the CMS and all that coming together. And that's really probably where most of the discussion and debate in the industry lies, is who owns, like, if you wanted to pick up your website and move it, could you do so? Not just migrate the content, but in its current state, could you pick it up and move it somewhere else? Sometimes people refer to that as the word portable, or owning your digital assets. Like, there's a lot of different buzzwords people are throwing around that all mean very different things, but can confuse people. We believe that everybody has probably a different correct answer for that part of it. And at Q4Launch, we're the only company we know of that the choice is yours. Do you want to own that underlying framework? Do you want it to be portable? Do you want to be able to pick it up and move it anywhere you want to? At Q4Launch, the choice is yours. You absolutely can use our subscription-based platform to do that. You can own that platform and do that. And there's lots of different reasons why you might want to do one or the other, which we're going to talk through today. But we want people to know right off the bat, at Q4Launch, the choice is yours. So no matter what agenda people are pushing, we give you the choice. The customer gets the choice of which way they want to do that. And then today we'll kind of help you understand which of those choices might be the right choice for you as you're thinking about it. So let's talk a little bit about the typical website design process as we set our conversation up today. Many of you, if you've been in business, have been through a website design process. Generally speaking, the website design industry is stuck in status quo. Like, there has not been a massive amount of change, or a lot of change, besides some design changes, a little bit of technology changes. There hasn't been a ton of change in the website design industry over the last 5 to 10 years. Most people that go through a lengthy search process to find the right designer developer, spend a lot of time on the phone, spend a lot of time looking at portfolios, spend a lot of time reading proposals. It's a very lengthy and exhausting process. Once you've made your selection, some people put out an RFP as well, or a request for proposal, which is even a longer process going that route. But it's a long process. Once you do that, you select the person you're excited. Most people in a typical website design process take somewhere between 90 and 365 days to go live or launch that website. By the inherent nature of it, through that process of talking to people, interviewing them, looking at their profile, and selecting someone, and then spending anywhere from 3 months to 12 months getting that live, once most websites launch, they're actually already out of date because so much has changed since you started the process. What you're launching 3 to 12 months later is already out of date. And that in and of itself begs for change, right? I mean, we're paying for something, we're launching something that's inherently out of date the day it launches. And that's typical. Like, that's the norm. That's what people have come to expect from the website design industry. There's so much that we see wrong with that process. So many things we've heard customers and prospective customers complain about with that process over the years. And honestly, that's how we used to build websites. And if you want to build a custom website you own, that's still pretty much the process. But there is a huge opportunity to do things different and look at things different, because it's a painful process. And as a result of it being a painful process, most websites are out of date and neglected. People don't want to go through the process of doing it again, so they drag their website's lifespan out much longer than it should be drug out. They don't want the big expense of doing a website again, so they drag it out longer than it should be drug out. And their websites aren't getting updated as often as they should, because it's a painful process to try to update most sites as well. And as a result, they cost people business. You can't measure how much business you're losing because of a bad website. Like, there's no way to really do that effectively. You can only measure the bookings you do get, not the ones you don't get. But if you have a bad, out-of-date, neglected website, you're losing business because of it. If your competitors' websites are better than yours, you're losing business because of it. And we believe that it's ripe for change. We believe it's a broken system. The website design process system, we believe, is broken. We believe the system has been designed for the best interest of the web designer developer. It's been designed by them, around them, as opposed to designing it around the customer and around what's best for the customer. We believe there's a better way. We believe that you can take this entire process and redesign it as a customer-centric process. And that's essentially what I can't figure out the correct word there, but what we have strived to do through our process. is taking everything we've heard people complaining about. We've been in the website design industry for 20 years, so we have a lot of experience as a company. And over those 20 years, think about all the complaints we've heard from people about, my web developer did this, mine did that, mine did this is why I'm switching. We've heard a lot of that. And through processing all of that, we've developed, we believe, a better way of doing web development, one that is customer-centric, one that makes it easy for you to transition to a new platform and stay ahead of the game. And we believe your website should be future-proof. And we're going to talk a lot about that as we move throughout our time together today. But the change we've made in this process is really designed to address all of those complaints, all those broken parts of the process we've talked about up to this point. There's a famous quote from Henry Ford: if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And as you look at the website design industry, I think this is so applicable, because if you ask consumers what they want, they have the curse of knowledge. Like, they don't know what it's like to not know what they know. So a lot of times they come to the table asking for faster horses because they don't know that there's a car out there. They don't know that Henry Ford was on the cusp of making this car. So I think a lot of people wrapped around this conversation, and there's a lot of conversation around this conversation, are using that mindset of trying to continue to sell you horses, when in reality the industry is shifting. We're moving away from the horse. We're moving away from a dated way of doing things into a faster, more agile, more responsive, more future-proof way of doing those things. And that's what we're excited to talk to you guys about today. And we believe change is good, right? I mean, do you remember buying software or music on a CD? Like, you'd go to the store, you'd pick it out, you'd buy it. Does your computer even have a CD drive anymore? Like, mine doesn't. My laptop doesn't even have a CD drive. And I remember the first time I bought a laptop, I was like, no way can I have a laptop without a CD drive. Now I don't even think about it, because change is good. The software industry has driven massive change in the way they deliver their product to the market. And we're going to talk a lot about that today, the change that the software industry has made, and draw some parallels for you based on where the future of the website design industry is going. So let's talk a little bit about that. The software industry has paved the road for this change that we're seeing. Nearly all property management software or systems, PMSs, or booking engines are cloud-based, or referred to as SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. I would bet if you're on today's webinar or you're listening to the recording that you are using a cloud-based or a SaaS PMS or booking engine. One of the beauties of that, and one of the great parts about that, is it reduces the upfront cost in most cases to be able to deploy new software. And then it also allows your software developer to push new features, bug fixes, etc., to all their customers in real time. So when they release a new feature, they're able to push that out for all their customers. Now everybody can have that new feature, as opposed to you have to go rebuy the software to get access to that feature, or you have to pay an upgrade fee to get access to that new feature. So the difference goes from you pay for this big expensive piece of software up front, and then they come and they install it for you, and it like lives in your, either lives on your computer or it lives in your system somewhere, to going to more of a subscription or a software as a service model, where you're paying a monthly fee and you have that software, you have all the improvements. I remember this most probably directly with QuickBooks. If many of you have heard me speak at conferences before, you may know that I come from a software background. My dad was a software developer. He actually taught me to program Visual Basic when I was 12 years old, would pay me $5 an hour for work that he was going on and reselling to his customers for $150 an hour. At the time, I thought I was getting a great deal because I was getting paid $5 an hour to write some code. Turns out I wasn't getting a great deal, but that made me the entrepreneur that I am. And thank you for failing me, child labor laws. But that's okay. We're moving on. We're not going to dwell on that. But the concept being that, like, that's my background. That's what I understand. I've worked at a lot of software companies. I've come through that. So as I've seen the software industry changing over the last 10 years, I've thought to myself, man, that's brilliant. Like, what they're doing there is really, really smart. And we've heard from customers, because we recommend a lot of software solutions because we work together with them. We've heard a lot of great feedback on the way software has evolved and moved to that subscription style model. And a lot of people fought it at first. I personally fought it at first. So like my own consumer behavior, like I buy QuickBooks and I would buy it every 3 years, and I was resistant to move to a subscription model. because I didn't want to do that. It didn't make sense to me. I have since adopted the subscription model of QuickBooks, and I'm super happy with it. Took some change, took some time for them to get it figured out and figure out how to do that right. But I don't buy QuickBooks every 3 years anymore. In reality, my accountant was always frustrated because, except for the year I bought it, he was always trying to use an outdated version of QuickBooks when he was doing my taxes. So he was always frustrated with that. But I didn't want to spring for buying new software. Honestly, the same thing is happening in the website design industry. So the software industry has paved the road for us as a website design industry. So we're not the Henry Fords of this. I don't know who in the software industry figured out software as a service, but whoever that guy is or that girl is, they're the Henry Ford of this change that the industry is seeing, but it's where the future is going. And all the big companies are moving things in this direction. I shouldn't say all the big companies, but all the scalable solutions are moving in this direction. There's actually some big companies that shouldn't move in this direction for some very specific reasons, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But the ability to have something that is constantly getting better is really, really important. We expect that out of our property management systems and our booking engines. We expect that out of so many systems in our company, but your website doesn't do that. And most people are actually okay with that because they don't know there's a better way. They come back to their web developer asking for a faster horse when they should be asking different questions altogether. So we've embraced that change as an industry, and we're better off for it. So this question of should I own my website is kind of like the same thing that you went through probably 5 to 10 years ago when the software industry was changing, and you were wrestling with the question of should I own my property management software or should I own my booking engine? The beauty of it is the software industry has already solved this for us, and we believe it's about time the website design industry caught up to where everybody else is going and kind of stop living a little bit in the stone ages of the industry. So let's talk about that. You've heard me say the words future-proof. If you've been on website or webinars with us in the past, you've heard me talk about the term future-proof as well. So what does a future-proof platform mean? That's maybe language that while you've heard me say it, you've never really understood it in the past. So we're going to dive into that a little bit here as we go throughout. The beauty of it, just like property management software or software that's continually getting better, it can be the last website you ever have to launch. And that's not that quote was actually given to us by a customer. And they said, so basically what you're telling me is this is the last website I'll ever launch. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Assuming we continue to do a great job and we continue to make our future-proof platform better, because it's future-proof, no matter what happens in the future, we're going to publish those changes and work to make your website better on a constant basis. So let's dive in and try to understand that and really look at what it means. Because it's cloud-based, we can push new features, fixes, updates, code, etc. with the push of a button. So like your software providers, we can write that code once, get it to work in our test environment, make sure it's all up and running, and we can push new changes to your website, all of our customer sites in real time at the same time, which makes it work a lot better. As a result, our future-proof platform ties into our core value of getting better every day. That's one of our core values at Q4Launch, something we think a lot of people should subscribe to within their business and work to get better every day. Unfortunately, it's not really possible in the traditional way of doing websites to make your website get better every day. We've actually had our future-proof platform live for 18 months, and in those 18 months, we've already pushed over 80 updates to our platform to make our customers' websites perform and work better. Those have gone out at no additional cost to our customers just because we've got ideas, we're making the platform work better, work harder, everything else. So lots going into all of those updates, lots of thought, lots of design, lots of development, lots of costs going into that, but not a cost that is passed on to our customers. They're getting all that stuff. They're getting all those new features. I'm actually going to show you a feature here in a minute, a new feature here in a minute we launched just this week. So we're continually pushing those updates out. They all look a little bit different. You know, some of them are bug fixes, some of them are updates to code, some of them are things that Google's looking for in their algorithm, some of them are new features, lots of different things that those look like, but constantly pushing out updates to our platform to make it better. So that's the future-proof part of it, making the back end, the features, the functionality, the code work better, work harder on a regular basis. So we talk a little bit about our roadmap or our get better every day roadmap. On a quarterly basis, our team gets together and brainstorms new features that they hear their customers talking about and asking for. Or maybe we see something that Expedia is doing and we say, oh, that thing Expedia is doing, that's really, really smart. We think our customers could benefit from that. Or we see something Amazon is doing. We say, oh, that's really smart, Amazon. We think our customers could benefit from that. We get inspired by those things, figure out how they best apply to our industry, and work those features into our roadmap and then develop those things out. Our customers also contribute new feature ideas regularly to our roadmap. And while we can't stop everything we're doing and push to every new feature, it works into our roadmap. We're able to tell our customers, hey, we love that idea. We're going to work that into our roadmap and make that happen for you. And then everybody benefits. Everybody who's on our platform benefits from those new features. And then we make changes to respond to industry updates, like Google updates to their algorithm, everything else that's going on. Just this week, we actually launched what we're calling our featured property ads on our vacation rental framework. We're going to be launching the same thing on our hotel and B&B platform. Obviously, we're not going to call it featured property ads. We're going to call it featured room ads. But what it basically means is as we're looking at how people navigate through websites and look at content and how other people, we actually were inspired by news websites like Fox News, CNN, Reuters, all those different news websites. And when you're scrolling through content, oftentimes you'll see an ad within that content that's relevant to the content you're reading. So what we were doing was seeing that behavior happening and that working for people and seeing how much our marketing strategy was increasing traffic to our customer sites. And we tested this idea of putting featured properties within page content, within blogs, within landing pages to drive traffic through to properties that were relevant to whatever that content was about, or rooms or specials or packages that were relevant to whatever that content was about. So with our vacation rental platform, we're rolling that feature out this week. So if you're on our vacation rental framework, you'll be hearing from us about that new feature. If you're on our hotel or B&B platform, you'll be hearing about that soon from us. We're going to build it for that platform here shortly as well. But really trying to tie consumers into the properties and or rooms that we want them to book when they're on our site. So that's one small example, how we see something in the marketplace, get inspired by it, see how it can solve this other problem we're trying to solve of we've got all these people landing on pages, how do we drive them into the parts of the site that we want them to be driven into, put those together and build a new feature for our platform. So it's awesome. We're not going to go to our customers and try to sell them that feature. We're going to push that out there. It's going to be a feature that's enabled to be turned on in the back end of the system. And then you will have to go and, of course, update anywhere you want those featured properties or featured rooms to show up. But that's something that we're working on, and it's going to be available for everybody. And that's the beauty of that. Nobody's paying for that. We're paying for that and rolling that out for everybody. So that's just one example of what that roadmap looks like. I can tell you our roadmap is jammed with features. Like there is tons of stuff we've dreamed up, our customers have dreamed up that's in that roadmap. And as we continue to build, we have 2 people on our team right now dedicated specifically to building out that roadmap. So all they do is do feature improvement and product improvement for the things on that roadmap. So a really cool thing that we're able to do by having, we have over 150 people at this point on our FutureProof platform. So have a good customer base there that uses it and has great success. So the takeaway there, we're proactively improving your website on a continual basis, essentially making it future-proof. That's where the term future-proof comes from. If you have a traditional website model, you can't do that. Like literally the traditional way of doing that is every single website is an individual instance of code. And if you want to add something to it, you have to go update it every single time. So with over 150 people on our FutureProof platform, if we wanted to roll that feature out in a traditional manner, we would have to go touch every single one of those 150 websites to make that a reality. To do that, we couldn't do it for free. We'd have to charge people an hour or 2 probably to get that done and implemented. Whereas on the other side, we'll probably spend 3 or 4 hours implementing that feature and it will go out to all 150 people. So we took what would have taken 300 hours and made it took 3 hours instead, and it creates a scalable solution that as a result makes us be able to provide a future-proof solution for them. So that's a really important part of the back end. We're also going to talk a little bit about the front end. We talk about our new every 3 guarantee. So as we were developing this concept for the back end, we said, that's great, but everybody knows every 3 years your front end design is outdated as well. So most of you have probably thought about that, and you've realized that over a period of time, your website becomes outdated, and you've probably budgeted for a new website somewhere every 3 to 5 years. The way our FutureProof platform works is you get a new design of your website every 3 years from us. So we will reskin the site every 3 years for no additional charge. This is one of our, they have an inn, cabins, cottages, and yurts, and a spa and a restaurant customers, the Inn and Spa at Cedar Falls. Beautiful property. But they got their new every 3 website from us. They just relaunched it, and it's a beautiful site. It's great functionality. Everything's awesome. Got all the latest changes, everything. But they got that because they're a part of our platform. And we have tons of different examples we can show you. So instead of having to save up for and budget for a website every 3 years, just like I used to do with QuickBooks, I'd save up and rebuy QuickBooks every 3 years. You're saving up and rebuying a website every 3 years and going through that painful process. Every 3 years, you get a new design. We have a design interview, we have a call, we talk about it. And while that's a new feature we rolled out, we actually went back to our customers. They've been customers for a long time. Customers that the new every 3 guarantee didn't exist when they signed up with us. We didn't have it worked into our whole system or model, and said, hey guys, we just want you to know we've launched this new feature and we're making it retroactive. We're making it available for customers that have been with us the whole time. So we're calling today basically to tell you we want to redesign your website and we want to do it for free. So imagine getting that call. You've got a website that's 3 years old. You're thinking about, hey, it's probably time we should be redoing it. And your web developer calls up and says, hey, you know, it's time for a new website. And we'd like to do it for you for free. That's a pretty good call. And you can imagine, as such, our customers we were making those calls to were pretty excited about the process. They didn't have to go spend money. They didn't have to budget the money and the time to do all that all over again. We just made that call and let them know. Most of you probably have never gotten a call like that, that you get a new website every 3 years at no charge. But that's possible because of the way we've built our system. And that new every 3 guarantee is one of the things that we hear as we talk to people about our FutureProof platform that they're most excited about. So your back end, your features, your functionality gets better every day as we continue to roll out new features. And your front end gets redesigned or reskinned every 3 years at no additional charge. So you're always staying up to date with the latest design standards. It's also custom design every time. So we've built mass customization into our platform that's fast and efficient. So every design has some similarities because good design is good design and we know what works and what doesn't, but it's not built on a template like Booking Suite, Wix, or Squarespace is. So those have been built on templates so they can deploy them with no human involvement. If you went with one of those sites, you can literally launch it with no human involvement. That's great. And the price point is actually usually lower in those cases because no humans have to be involved. On ours, we do a custom design for you. You actually get a mock-up. There's a lot of human involvement in our process. So it's a little bit more expensive than those type of examples, but significantly less expensive than the traditional website model. And while it's custom, it's not complicated. So we don't overcomplicate parts of your site that shouldn't be complicated, because what we found is sites that get over-designed or overcomplicated tend to kill conversion rates. So custom, not complicated, is really important. I'm going to kind of move things a little bit faster here as we get through some of these details here, but go live in 30 or 45 days. Time is money. We all know how busy you are, and opportunity cost is real as well. So every day your new website does not go live, you're losing opportunity cost, assuming your new website works better than your old website did. And every day you spend managing that project or being involved with the project, you're losing your own time and money as well. So speed is critically important. And one of the things we thought needed to be done better, I talked about earlier, it takes 3 to 12 months for most people to deploy a website live. In our custom process, we can't do it like in a day, like Squarespace or Wix can. Those you can go live with a new site in like 24 hours because no humans have to be involved. We're not there because we don't want to be there because we want to do the custom designs. So you still have an awesome quality product. But our hotels, inns, and B&Bs go live in 30 days. Our vacation rentals go live in 45 days. The reason that timeline is extended is due to our API integration with the different property management software. That takes a little bit longer to get all that API integration happening and that data flowing back and forth and all mapped properly. But really, really fast compared to industry averages, and that time is money. Secure hosting. We were the first company that we know of to launch secure hosting across our entire customer base. We did it 4 years ago, or over 4 years ago, and we did it at no charge. So we called our customers up, so there's a better way to do hosting. This is what Google expects to see, and we're making secure hosting available for you at no charge. Not all hosting is created equal. We also invest in fast servers, which is an important part of having a fast website and making sure Google is happy with your site. There's clear data that correlates the speed of your site to the conversion rate or the performance of your site. With the traditional website, on top of the high upfront fees you spend to get it developed, you're going to spend another $25 to typically $200 a month just to get hosting. It's going to range between there. You can always find cheaper hosting, but quality is an important part of that equation as well. With us, our hosting is actually included in our platform at no additional charge. Customer support is also included. Of all the years we've been doing this, the number one complaint we've heard from people when they're switching over to us from a web development perspective is the reason they're switching is bad or slow customer support. And that's honestly the number one reason we started. The way we got our start was a SCORE counselor, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, contacted me and said, Matt, I've got customers that are getting really bad support and guidance from their web developer marketing agency. Can you help them? And I just started helping them as a volunteer with the local SCORE chapter to help them get out of the bad situations that they were in and help them understand there's a better way. So we started because customer support was bad in the industry and launched because we believed there was a better way to do it. And we attribute our tremendous growth and making the Inc. 5000 list to our commitment to customer care. If you've heard any of the interviews I've done coming off of that, or the podcast I've done as part of that, you know I've talked about that the number one thing we believe has driven that growth is the way we take care of our customers. And thinking about it, instead of building a $30,000 website, we do a monthly subscription fee. So that creates a ton of pressure on our support team to continue to deliver great support and win our customers' loyalty every day. Because if we don't, they'll just leave. Like, it's really easy for them to leave, as opposed to someone who's invested $30,000 in a website, harder for that person to leave. It's built on WordPress, as I mentioned earlier, as the content management system, so it's incredibly user-friendly, and support is included in it as well. So the support for what we built is included in the platform. So that's really great, something that people love. Overall, we want you to know at Q4Launch, the choice is yours. As far as we know, as I mentioned earlier, we're the only company in the industry that lets you choose. You can choose our FutureProof platform. It's available for a low monthly fee and a lot more accessible to most people. Or if you want a custom website that you own, we're happy to build that for you as well. And it starts at around $9,997. So essentially it starts at 10 grand to get the same thing you get without all the updates. Building you a $10,000+ website is way more profitable than you signing up for our FutureProof platform. I will tell you that flat out. And the reason I think you're hearing so much from people about you've got to own your digital assets, you got to make sure your website's portable, you got to make sure, is because that's the way they're built to do business. They're built to build websites and charge you an upfront fee to do it, and it's very profitable. So it's, to go back to my Henry Ford example, it's kind of like the horse and carriage company saying, cars aren't safe. You've got to make sure you own your horses. You got to make sure you've got your horse and buggy and you've upgraded it and you've done this. When in reality, the industry is shifting to cars. So there's a lot of marketing going on to say this is a bad idea, when in reality, it's a new idea and it's changing. And like anything, when change happens, it gets fought, and that's okay. But like Jeff Bezos says, if you fight change, you're going to ultimately get left behind. We'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But we want you to know the choice is yours. We're happy to build you a $10,000 website. And honestly, we make way more money building you a $10,000 website than we do putting you on, or plus $10,000+ website than we do putting you on our FutureProof platform. It's basic economics, which is why I said at the very, very beginning, you need to think about what's best for you, not best for the person who's telling you what to do. So think about that as you're making decisions. When should you own your own website? So we've talked a lot about reasons you should be on a FutureProof platform. Here's some reasons maybe you shouldn't be. You have complex and custom needs. Had a conversation with a customer yesterday about building them a custom website, not being a part. They asked about our FutureProof platform, and we said, no, you guys actually aren't a good fit for it because you have complex custom needs. We need to build you something custom, like truly, truly custom. And we're going to move forward and do that for them because that's the right thing for them. You need the cheapest option you can find. We are never going to be the cheapest option you can find. We believe we're the best value you can find, and that our site will outperform for the price you pay anything else you can find, the best value. But we don't ever want to be the cheapest option, and we are definitely not the cheapest option. So if you are like barely getting by as a company, and you need the absolute cheapest option, you can probably find somebody on Craigslist to build you a website for $500. And that might be what you need, because you may not be able to afford something a little bit more robust and feature rich and future proof. Or you think your website needs to be portable. Like, I've launched probably over 500 websites in my lifetime with this company. We've launched 40 websites just this year already in 4 months, which is kind of crazy. But and there's like 1 or 2 of those 500 that have ever asked about their website being portable or ever asked to move their website somewhere else. Like, people aren't just like picking up their website like a suitcase and moving it around. So I'm not quite sure why that's such a thing. But I don't think most people want to move their website around all that often. But if it's important to you to move your website around, then being on a future-proof platform or being on a cloud or a SaaS version of it is probably not the right fit for you. It used to be important for me to own my QuickBooks installation. Not important to me anymore, because I realize the way the industry is going and how things are changing. But if it's important to you, you should probably own your website, and we're happy to help you do that if that's important to you. I just don't think it creates any value for you. So I don't think it's in your best interest to do it. But if you want to do it, we're happy to do it for you. So in Jeff Bezos' letter last year, you guys hear me talk a lot about Jeff Bezos. He's one of the leaders that I follow a lot. In his letter to shareholders last year, he talked about this idea versus day one versus day two. Day one companies that are constantly innovating, constantly pushing the envelope, working like startups, because today is day one. And when you move into day two as a mature company, you tend to start settling in. Things don't move as fast. You fight change, things like that. And his quote last year was, "The outside world can push you into day two if you won't or can't embrace powerful trends quickly. If you fight them, you're probably fighting the future. Embrace them, and you have a tailwind." And as Q4 Launch, I talked to our leadership team about this last year when Jeff wrote this letter. We want to be a day one company. We want to look for powerful trends and embrace them quickly. And as we saw what the software industry was doing, we said, we think that's a trend that's really applicable to the website design industry and is in our customers' best interests. We think there's a better way to do this process. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of money building a better way to do this process. And we believe, and hopefully our customers can tell you, that through that, it's become a tailwind for them. Getting a website live in 30 days and the process we've designed to be able to do that has become a tailwind for them, as opposed to being an anchor. A lot of times I know your website probably feels like it's an anchor holding you back or slowing you down, when in reality, it should be a tailwind for you. As a company, we want to be a tailwind for you. We want to push you from behind to be better, to have your marketing be better, have your website be better, have your revenue grow. We want to push that. So we'd love for you to request a demo of our FutureProof platform. I'm actually going to launch a poll. If nothing else, maybe you're just curious about what I've talked about today and you want to see what it really looks like. You can check out some of our sites, of course, but we can walk you through a poll. So if you'd like, walk you through a demo of our FutureProof platform. I know many of our customers are on today's webinar as well. You already have our FutureProof platform, so you don't need a demo of it, but we're glad that you're here. So if you're interested in that, simply click yes. Please get in touch and we'll give you a demo of our FutureProof platform. If you're not, just click no, thank you. No big deal. We don't care which you click, but if you're interested in just learn a little bit more about what we're seeing the future as and just seeing what that looks like, we'd be happy to give you a demo of that. If we could get about 70% of people to vote in the poll, that'd be awesome. That's what we try to get before we move things on, just to keep our users engaged. So again, we don't click if you click yes or no, or you can just click one of those two things. Make sure that we know you're still alive and at your computer with our webinar, and we didn't lose you somewhere along the way. But if we can get you to vote yes or no, that would be awesome, and we'll keep things moving along. We're also going to open things up to Q&A. So if you have any questions, let us know that. We're going to have Q&A time so we can connect with you, answer any questions you have about our FutureProof platform or what's included in that or how that works or anything else. All right, so to move into Q&A, go ahead and put your questions in the chat panel there, and we'll get those questions answered for you guys. All right, let me go ahead and close that poll, and then We will move along to our Q&A time. Questions is a question here from Bob. Is pricing based on number of units, flat rate, and what is the startup fee? Great question, Bob. Pricing is not based on number of units. It is a flat rate, flat monthly fee based on if you're on our VR or a hotel B&B platform. It's a little bit different. Our VR platform has integrations built with the different property management software. On the hotel B&B side, we actually link out to your booking engine, so a little bit of a different thing. But happy to connect with you, Bob, and go over pricing with you. The startup fee is super, super low. There is a startup fee, but it's super low and makes it really, really easy to get going. Question from Diego. Do you run on WordPress? Yes, Diego, we do. We've built heavy customization, our own themes, if you will, our own platform that sits on top of WordPress. So we choose to use WordPress as the underlying CMS because it's so easy to use and so many people are already familiar with it. And then take it and customize it to work for the vacation rentals, hotels, and B&B spaces that we work in. So heavy customization, but underlying content management system is still WordPress. So really easy to use. Great question. Question, how does your new every 3 guarantee work? Really simple. As you're on the platform for 3 years, somewhere in that process towards the end of those 3 years, we will contact you about scheduling a design call, and we will go through the design process just like we do with a new customer coming onto the platform. As I mentioned, we went back to our old customers and did that. So we've already launched probably 10 to 15 new every 3 websites at no charge for those people that have been customers with us for 3, 4, 5 years when we rolled the new every 3 guarantee out. Question, do you have integration with Barefoot as a property management software? Absolutely. Yeah, Barefoot's one of the PMSs that we integrate with. Happy to show you that. On the front end, actually, you can't see any difference between our sites. On the vacation rental side, it's on the back end that the difference would happen between Barefoot, Escapia, V12, Streamline, whatever PMS you're on. Question from Walt. Could you please answer the question about cost? Give us some idea or a range for a B&B. Yeah, absolutely, Walt. So our monthly fee, and actually all of our costs are broken out on our website. You can go to our website and see all the prices. I just didn't go over them because it's a little different by vertical. But for our B&B product, the startup cost is $1,497, $1,497. That's your startup cost for that. And then the monthly fee is $297 a month. That's lower because we're not providing your booking engine and we're not integrating via an API. On our vacation rental platform, the startup cost is a little bit higher because it's a lot of work to get your API integration done up front. So the startup cost is $2,500 and then the monthly fee is $500. And with the vacation rental platform, we actually provide you your booking engine. So that's part of what you're getting there as well and part of why the cost is higher. And we provide API integration for it. So that's why that cost is higher. Those two pieces there in the vacation rental space are pretty big differences. So that's the basic cost, $1,497 plus $297 a month for our B&B product. Our hotel product actually has a couple levels that starts at $297 and kind of goes up from there based on the level of customization we're going to do. And then our VR product is the $2,500 setup fee and the $500 a month fee. I'm happy to go over that with you guys individually. Walt, we can follow up with you on that as well. And Bob, you guys, I don't know if you clicked yes in our poll or not, but we're happy to follow up with you on that. But all of the updates you get as part of the FutureProof platform, the hosting, this customer support that's included in that will more than pay for itself, no doubt. And you compare that to the quality of what we're building, which for a comparable competitor, they're charging anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 to build websites at the quality that we're building, but we're doing that for a significantly lower cost. So really a huge value there. Any other questions? I think that's all the questions that we have in our chat panel. Happy to answer any other questions here if there are any, and we'll get those answered. Otherwise, please keep an eye. We'll have another webinar coming up in about 2 weeks. It'll be more of a traditional webinar from us where it's more educational oriented, although we wanted this to be very educational oriented about where the future of the website design industry was going. It just was a lot more about our product than we've ever done a webinar before, but we felt like that was the best way to kind of communicate the differences. So thank you everyone who joined us. If there's anything we can do to help, please get in touch with me. My contact information is on the screen there, and we look forward to following up with you.